Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to skip right past the usual headlines about AI and your job. We're going to break down a totally new way to think about your career. Not through hype or fear, but through the cold, hard math of survival. Okay, so let's kick things off with a powerful idea from a field you probably weren't expecting: nutrition. Dr. Sean Baker makes this brilliant point that what works on average for a huge group of people, well, it often completely fails a single person. And that exact same logic is absolutely crucial when we hear all these big, sweeping predictions about AI and the economy.
And that right there brings us to the single most important question you should be asking yourself. We keep hearing that AI is going to boost the economy by, say, 7%. But what does that average actually mean for your personal risk, for your chances of getting wiped out? Because let's be honest, the average doesn't care one bit if you're the one who loses.
Think about it like this, a little thought experiment. Imagine someone offers you $100 million to play one round of Russian Roulette. Now, mathematically, the average payout is over $83 million. On paper, it's a fantastic deal, but you wouldn't take it, right? Of course not. Because for you, the individual, that 1 in 6 chance of total irreversible ruin makes the average completely and totally meaningless.
And that game of Russian Roulette perfectly illustrates this concept called the Ergodicity Gap. It's this huge difference between what happens to a group of people one time and what happens to one person over time. When you rely on those big group averages for your own personal career strategy, you are literally playing Russian roulette and just hoping for the average payout. And that is a gamble you just can't afford to take.
All right, so let's build on that. We'll start with the dominant, super optimistic story we all hear, the thesis, that AI is this unbelievable engine for making us all more productive.
First off, you've got tools like Claude from Anthropic. Just imagine feeding it a 500-page book and then asking it to summarize the core argument, find any contradictions, and then draft a response, all in a matter of seconds. For anyone who works with information, this is like having a team of genius research assistants working for you 24/7. It just massively amplifies what one person can do.
Then you've got platforms like VidIQ, which basically gives content creators this huge strategic advantage. It can sift through millions of videos to find topics people want but nobody's covering. It can even predict which thumbnail will get you more clicks. It turns the whole guessing game of content creation into a data-driven science.
And then there are tools like Mick, which let you become an architect of your own efficiency. You can visually stitch together different apps to build these things called agent pipelines. So, for example, you could have an AI automatically read your emails, pull out the important info, drop it into a spreadsheet, and then schedule a meeting in your calendar, all without you lifting a finger. You're literally building your own little digital workforce.
And just so you know, these results aren't just theoretical. A real-world tech channel used these exact AI insights from VidIQ and saw their subscriber count grow by 500% in just 8 months. The power of AI to amplify what you can do is absolutely undeniable. But there's always a but, right? Every powerful idea or thesis creates an equally powerful opposing force, an antithesis. And in this case, it's the uncomfortable truth that as AI makes the top performers way more productive, it also makes it dramatically harder for everyone else to even get in the game. This brings us to a really critical concept from probability theory. It's called the absorbing barrier. Now, in your career, this isn't just about losing your job. No, it's much more serious. It's the point where your entire skill set becomes so outdated that the cost and the time it would take to retrain are just too high to ever get back into the market. You're pushed out of the game and you can't get back.
And you know what? We are seeing this play out right now, in real time. Just look at how Google's big algorithm updates have shifted. They used to reward content that was just kind of helpful. Now they are aggressively prioritizing and rewarding content that shows real, authentic, human expertise while absolutely crushing generic, low-effort, AI-generated stuff. The minimum standard to compete is just getting higher and higher.
So what does that actually look like? Well, check this out. The websites that were just churning out unedited AI articles didn't just see their traffic dip a little bit. They saw a near total collapse. We're talking a 94% drop in traffic for AI news summaries. This proves it. AI is raising the floor, and if you're still standing on the old floor, you are about to fall right through. Okay, so if the thesis is AI makes the best even better, and the antithesis is AI raises the bar for everyone else, what's the solution? What do you actually do? Well, the synthesis is a new, much more resilient strategy for how you structure your skills and your career.
The mental model we need to borrow is that of the T-shaped professional. And this is way more than just a buzzword. It's a blueprint for survival. It means you need to develop deep, world-class expertise in one core skill, that's the vertical part of the T, and at the same time build a broad set of skills across a bunch of other areas, that's the horizontal bar.
So, how do you actually do that? You use a two-part barbell strategy. Part 1, you go all in on the AI tools. Use them to automate all the repetitive parts of your main job, making your deep vertical skills hyper-efficient. And what that does is it buys back your most valuable asset, your time. Then part 2, you use that time you just saved to build your defense. You invest it in those broad, horizontal skills, the uniquely human stuff that AI can't easily copy, like complex negotiation, designing new systems, or building a personal brand that people actually trust.
And when you start applying this strategy, it leads you to a pretty powerful and inevitable conclusion about how you need to position yourself to not just survive, but actually thrive in this new world.
You see, this tension between AI's amazing promise and its very real risks, it's not going to be solved by just picking a side. As this quote suggests, the future that actually gets built, the one that we'll all want to live in, is going to come from combining these two powerful forces.
Ultimately, your survival in this new era really boils down to a simple choice. You can be a component, just a single replaceable gear in somebody else's machine, totally vulnerable to being swapped out at any moment. Or you can become the architect of your own system that creates value. The only way to avoid that individual risk of ruin is to build. So the real question isn't if AI is coming for your job. The question is, are you a component or are you an architect?